The first thing the woman did after her rebirth was to rush to the commander without hesitation and take a bullet for him with her own body. It was because, on the day the commander was assassinated in her previous life, her husband, who was the adjutant in charge of security, was at the hospital accompanying his scheming lover who was giving birth. Worried that her husband would be dismissed by the commander, she went to the hospital and forced him to leave. Later, her husband was promoted twice for saving the commander, but the scheming woman died in childbirth due to excessive blood loss. Her husband then vented all his resentment on her, secretly poisoning her tea and killing her. It was only then that she saw his true colors. Unexpectedly, the next second, she was reborn on the day the commander was attacked by assassins. Seeing an assassin aiming a gun at the commander, the woman, with a big belly, rushed over without a second thought and took the fatal bullet for him. She then told the guards to go to the southern military camp to find Li Wenlong, the adjutant of the 2nd Regiment. Since her husband cared so much about his scheming lover, she might as well give this meritorious service to someone else. To cover the commander's retreat, she used her body as a shield. However, a bullet hitting her abdomen, and she fell heavily to the ground. She was filled with guilt for failing to protect her child even in this new life. At that moment, Li Wenlong arrived with a large force and quickly killed all the assassins. Li Wenlong recognized that the woman was Adjutant Zhang's wife, and only then did the commander learn that his savior was the wife of his subordinate adjutant. To repay the kindness, the commander immediately sent her to the hospital for emergency treatment and sent someone to call her husband to the hospital. But all he got was her husband's complaint.
丈夫办说，他要陪人生孩子，让我找个乔薇，我3吃醋，也要有个限度。
别的女人生孩子关他屁事啊！你难道没有说他自己的老婆都快要没病了吗？
说了，可他不信，还警告我不要配合乔薇演这种苦肉。
The commander never expected that his wife, who was seriously injured, would still be thought of as putting on a show. Suddenly, the woman, infuriated, started vomiting blood violently. The commander was furious and prepared to go fetch her husband himself. Li Wenlong hurriedly stopped him, as the commander was still injured and couldn't stand. He promised that he would bring the man over no matter what. However, Li Wenlong was gone for most of the day, and the commander, who had already changed into his military uniform, had been waiting for a long time. But instead of her husband, it was her vicious mother-in-law who arrived.
乔伟，你可真行啊！这勾搭男人的本事可越来越厉害，还让这么多男人给你卖命。我告诉你，只要你生不出儿子，你就是只不会下蛋的鸡，别再给我白费力气。
孩子，我的第一个孩子是怎么没的？你心里难道没有数吗？
Looking at her mother-in-law, who was arrogant by relying on others' power, the woman was so angry that her teeth hurt. In her previous life, her mother-in-law, instigated by the scheming woman, thought she was carrying a daughter, so she secretly put abortifacient in her tea. When she told her husband about it, he sent her mother-in-law to live outside. She had thought her husband had a change of heart, but when she was pregnant with their second child, she accidentally found her husband and mother-in-law accompanying the pregnant scheming woman. Only then did she realize that her husband hadn't sent his mother away but had let her take care of the scheming woman.